Hey folks, welcome to the Leeds View podcast for the Wednesday night podcast. At this stage, I think it's Wednesday night podcast. Myself and Paul Brooker here to have a little look ahead to the game of the weekend, talk about the news of the week surrounding Leeds United, of which there has been a little bit. It's never that dull when you're a Leeds United fan anyway, but we've got the fallout and then the preparation for the weekend, which is really, really important. We are going to talk about some of the more concrete transfer links that have come up, although be it all of that, every piece of it will be caveated on the fact that Leeds have to stay in the Premier League first. So, job to do on Friday night before we can even really digest it fully. But we're going to have a chat about it because silly season appears to be officially open. But we'll talk about the more credible ones in the back page, normal rumor mill stuff. And we are part of the Sports Social Podcast Network, and we are sponsored by OK Jersey. You can get 8% off shirts there. World Cup shirts for a World Cup. Some are using the links and the code TView in your basket, as well as part of Finalysis. You can download the Finalysis. You can download Finalysis. You can download Finalysis using the link down below in the description. Right,
Keep
Paul,
that in.
how are you, mate?
That stays in. I don't want any fancy cutting or anything like that.
No,
just keep
let's
it in.
get on with it.
Thank you very much. I'm very well, thank you. I'm good. I'm currently watching you have a mini meltdown, which is hilarious in itself. Apologies for not being available for the first podcast of the week. I was stuck in Manchester. I'm sorry. A little bit of news for the channel, if you don't mind me saying. You can cut this bit out if you want, but we are going to view a podcast studio this weekend to go and have a look around at their studio from an interviewing point of view, because one of the things we've discussed that we would like to do next season is more face-to-face interviews and the potential of sitting down with maybe ex-pros, that sort of thing, and having a conversation with them, but doing it face-to-face. So we are looking at doing that as a new thing for the channel, which again, Joe, I hope you don't mind me throwing that one in there just as something a little bit new. But other than that, I'm good, mate. It's bank holiday weekend coming up, so I'm caffeinated. You know,
could be a point.
I'm ready to go. Whatever you want to, just fine, love it. It's great. You can tell it's Wednesday, can't you? You can tell it's Wednesday because it's just.
It is. It already feels like Friday.
Yeah,
Friday's huge. So we're getting ready for Daniel Farke at his press conference. Today we got some, well, I was going to say some good news and some not so good news. We got some bad news and some potentially, possibly bad news, depending on how we want to look into it. We'll talk about both sides. From a team news perspective, Farke has confirmed Gabby Goodmunson will miss the game. In fact, he'll miss this game and the Spurs game as well with a hamstring problem, which unfortunately has happened to him after the result of the FA Cup semi-final. So no cup final and no Gabby as a result of that. So nothing good came out of that. Question marks over Okafor and Bial, both of them just with slight concern. Same concerns they had going into the semi-final. It should be pointed out. And Okafor did get a kick in his calf, but he is hopeful that they'll both be available for Friday night. And he's very happy that Anton Stach got 45 minutes under his belt. The extra couple of days in training this week as well will help him for Friday night's game. So all in all, Paul, we've got a couple back. We've got one out. But with Gabby going out, we'll likely just see James Justin step into that left-back position. Assuming Bial is okay, we'll see Joe Rodon go back onto the right-hand side, and we should be okay. We've talked about this year already. We just don't want to have a situation where we're missing a fullback and a centre-back on that right-hand side, because that means Borneo has to come in. Not that he's done anything wrong, but it's not the strongest side we could possibly put it.
Yeah, I mean, look, if Borneo was going to come into any game, this would probably be the game that you want to come into. So that's absolutely fine. Yeah, it's look, we're at the business end of the season now, at the absolute business end of the season. So it makes it, it can make it frustrating. Little knocks, little injuries, little niggles. It's been quite a long, hard, demanding season for everybody. We've had a lot of travelling. We've been in and around and all over the place. You know, we've had an exceptionally good cup run for a newly promoted side. Little things like this are bound to happen. I expect that if Biol and Okafor train tomorrow, they'll be included in the game. If they train, because they normally train in the morning, don't they, of the game as well? They do like a little bit of light work, I think. But if they're there, then they will play. The other side of it is, if not, Nonto gets his opportunity, which I'm all for. I'm absolutely fine about that. Justin going into left back, Mr. Versatility, the best 10 million quid we've spent in the longest period of time ever. So that's fine with that. Rodon coming in, it just solidifies that defence for me. So we'll be fine. We'll be fine. It could be a hell of a lot worse. The big thing was Stach coming in for his 45 minutes at the semi-final and not looking out of place and not looking rusty and not looking different. Just that we immediately had ball retention when he came back in. We immediately had that little bit more incisive of a pass. We had that little bit more flair, if you want to call it that. I mean, that shot, the technique on that shot's nuts. And again, I don't think people are giving Sanchez enough credit for the save that he actually makes on that one, which is just unbelievably good. So, yeah, like you said, it's bad-ish news, but it could have been a hell of a lot worse. I mean, Burnley they're down now, but our favourite player is injured for that game. So Medjbury is not playing handball.
Oh, him. I thought you genuinely meant somebody I liked, which is Connor Roberts. He's out of the game. Yeah, Hannibal is out. Oh, what a shame. What a shame when the school missed him.
Hamstring injury. You got Bayer with a knee injury, doubtful, and Tanzabi with Achilles tendon problem, and Amdouni with cruciate ligament. So that's only doubtful, which is weird. If that's cruciate ligament, you ain't playing. So it's a big game. Just get the 3 points, and just get the 3 points, so we can all chill out and we can all relax. That's the important thing about it.
We're in that territory now, aren't we? We're in that just go and win a game of football territory. Like just park what's there. Nothing that's happened up until this point matters anymore. Go and win a game of football. And then depending on what happens over the rest of the weekend, we could be pressure off going into Spurs next week. And we talked about it as well. West Ham are away to Brentford, Nottingham Forest are away to Chelsea, and Spurs are away to Aston Villa. And obviously Spurs have got no Solanke and no Xavi Simons now for the remainder of the season. So both of them are out.
Yeah.
So not an easy run of games, but then we saw last week, we didn't expect Forest to go away to Sunderland and put 5 goals past the side that have only lost twice at home all season, but yet they went and put 5 goals past them and made us all just get a little bit more edgy than we were going into it, because I missed the first half and thought, I'll pick up the second half. It'll probably be 0-0 or Sunderland will be winning. I turned it on, I was like, 4-0! What? So hopefully Brentford aren't on the beach and Chelsea didn't celebrate too much, and Aston Villa are going to get themselves sorted out again for that final push for the Champions League places. But yeah, everyone said it. It's a big weekend. Some people have said don't put too much stock in this. Just, it's another game of football, which it is. It is. Yeah. It's just another game of football. But it is Leeds' most winnable game between now and the end of the season. But in saying that, we will be remiss if we didn't point out the obvious factoid in the room, which is Daniel Farke can't beat Scott Parker. Now, some people believe that Scott Parker will come and park the bus. If he does, he is destined to lose that job with Steven Gerrard hovering around the outside waiting to pick it up. But where do you just sit on the whole weekend and then just a general approach to this game?
Because we're looking at this game and thinking that this is, when you say, and it's not about being disrespectful about the teams that you're playing against or anything like that. It's where you are in the league and what you're looking to do. You try and identify games where you think that you should be minimum getting a draw or minimum going for the 3 points and picking up the 3 points. And this is a game where we should be looking at it going, we need the 3 points. We need to be able to pick up the 3 points for this game. And we need to just get to that 43 points and then everybody be a little bit calmer. And then that's another game week down. That's another block of games down. We've improved the point system a little bit more. We get the 3 points and it doesn't really matter. Genuinely, it doesn't really matter what the teams below us do. It doesn't. If we keep, stacking up the points and getting the wins like we need to do. Now, don't get me wrong. Should Spurs lose and should West Ham lose, then we'll all feel a lot better. We'll all feel massively happy because we're then in the territory of we're 9 points ahead of Spurs with 9 points to go. So it swings in rare. You can use any synonym that you want at this stage. It's just focus on us and just get through what we need to get through. Don't let the FA Cup haunt you or hide over your head or anything like that anymore. That's done. Be proud of your achievement of where you've got in that in that thing and what you've done, and take it into the next game. You're now playing to prove that you deserve the second season with Leeds United in the Premier League. So there's certain players that are technically playing for their places, so they need to go out and prove it. And this is what an opportunity to be able to do that over the next 4 games. That's just go out to win. And like I said, we now have a team where we feel like we can identify with them and that they they represent the badge and all of that kind of good stuff, which we haven't had for quite a few number of years. So just go out and do what you need to do. Just go and get the job done. I don't care if it goes in off of DCL's left arse cheek.
Take it.
That's all we need to do.
He's very good with his left ass cheek. His
is
right
very
one is his weak ass cheek, so it's important, you know.
very much so.
Yeah, so I mean, if you look at it, what, eight points in our last 4 games. League form, we've looked pretty decent. Everything seems to be lining up lovely for a nice win on Friday night. Nothing could possibly get in our way. And just checking my notes, Paul. And the referee's Thomas Bramall.
I know. Don't be surprised if we get. I'm going to call this now. I'm going to call this now. Don't be surprised if we get a penalty in this game on Friday.
You think he's going to make up for what he's done before?
I'm just going to try. I'm just, just out into the ether, and I'm just putting it out there. I'm manifesting. So anybody, any of the Leeds lads, if you feel any contact, just go down. Be fine.
To get sent off for simulation.
No, fine. No, I heard about him coming in to do the refereeing, and I did go. Are they being serious?
Are you
messing? Read the room, boys. Come on, read the room. And it was, wasn't. I don't think it's the right thing to do. Really, don't think it's the right thing to do because he's got. I mean,
he was stood down after the Crystal Palace game. That's a big mistake he made.
Yeah, that's so not good by the PGMOL. But I mean, to be honest with you, I wouldn't expect anything less from the PGMOL this season. They've been phenomenally bad this year. They've been horrifically bad. So,
although Peter Banks did make up for his issues with Leeds this season, he was on VAR a couple of weeks ago and gave us some decisions. So there is that part of it. Yeah, but just look from a football perspective, all jokes aside, and it was a joke. Just go and win a game of football. Like, don't give the referee any decisions to make. Don't put yourself in a situation where he can screw you over, and just go and score an early goal and get at them. And you know what? You should have something about you going into this game because you underperformed at Turf Moor and you got beaten pretty badly by them. Considering the gap between the two sides now. Go and win a game of football, do it at Ellen Road, get at the mirror, get the crowd behind you. It's a Friday night in Ellen Road. Come on. Let's just,
Let them off the leash is my thing.
Yeah, exactly. Handbrake off.
Go. Just go for it. Go. First 20, 25 minutes, boys. I want you in their faces. That's what I want. I want Farke. I want you in their faces, boys. I want you in their faces, and I want you pressuring them and doing everything that you can to get. If we get an early goal, it'll calm everybody down. It will absolutely calm everybody down.
Yeah. Okay. What else we got to talk about? Yeah, the biggest threat for us coming into this game, Zian Fleming. He's got 9 goals this season, Premier League, 8 of them away from home this year. Now we've talked about Yacobial, who's kept every man and his sister quiet this year when he's gone up against them, even in his less than impressive games like the FA Cup match semi-final, where he was taken off at halftime because of the positional changes, not because of his performance. But Joe Pedro didn't really get a sniff up until that point. One chance he got off of him. That was it in the whole night, 45 minutes. And he's kept a list of strikers quiet this season. So you'd be looking at that and going, if he's fit, you'd imagine he'll look after Zian Fleming. And then it's just a case of limiting their opportunities from set pieces.
Yeah, that's what we need to do. We need to be in their faces. I want fast-paced football. I want them crawling at the end of the game because it's been that difficult for them. I want us with the ball all the time. I don't want any of this sitting off nonsense. I don't want any of this. Let's just sit back a little bit deep and see what we can kind of do and pressure them.
Don't do Sunderland again. Don't do it again.
Don't do Sunderland. Just go at them. Just absolutely go at them. Tear them a new backside. Tear them a new beehole and just sort it out. Just get it sorted out. Get it over and done with in the first half. Do Stoke again. Just go do Stoke again and we'll all be happy.
Great, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be great. Okay, so that's that out of the way. So we'll see how we go. We'll have a watch along over on bigup.com on Friday night. Instant match reaction on YouTube straight afterwards. Paul will have his reactions out on his channel as well. You can check all that out. Paul's details will be down below.
Thank you.
And that kind of puts Burnley to one side. Farke did say no complacency in this. We're totally focused on it. The FA Cup game has already been put behind us, and you just want to make sure there is no hangover from that. But he did make one very strong point, Paul, before we move on from Burnley and start talking about the news of the week. And that was relegation could make Burnley a slightly different beast coming into this game. And he's probably not wrong on that, because the pressure of relegation relieved from your shoulders when you're confirmed as going down has done funny things for teams this season. And you never know with this. They might be playing a little bit freer. And as you said, about Leeds playing with the handbrake off, they might come into this playing very much with the handbrake off. Hopefully.
Possibly, potentially, who knows? It just depends, because I mean, I know some of the Burnley accounts that I follow, and they just want Farke gone now. They've had enough of him. They've had enough of his style of football, the way that he plays, the way that he sets up. But if you look at their last 4 games, so they lose 3-1 at Fulham, get spanked 2-0 by Brighton. They then lose 4-1 to Nottingham Forest, and then they lose 1-0 to Manchester City. Now, granted, that was Manchester City's B team, but they still lost
in second gear.
In second gear, but they still lost 1-0. So they're coming off loss at home, loss away, loss at home, loss away, and they drew at home as well against Bournemouth, funnily enough. But we just don't need to worry about what they're going to do. What we need to worry about is what we're going to do. And yeah, I agree. Once that kind of relegation is confirmed, everybody kind of goes, right, so I need to sort of either play for a move, or I need to play to put myself in a shop window, or some people, I don't really care, so I'm going to be on the beach kind of thing. So for me, you just have to look at Wolves and look at Burnley. Since the relegations have been confirmed for the both, they've not been in the best of form. I understand what Farke is saying. Farke is basically saying, look, read between the lines on this one, but he's saying we will treat them with the utmost respect. We're not going to go out and thinking it's going to be an easy win. This is a Premier League game. Every Premier League game is difficult, and we just need to make sure that we are doing everything that we are told. And the whole sitting back thing and possession-based football side of stuff, I think that's a 50-50 issue. I think it's 50% Farke, and I think it's 50% the team as well.
Yeah, so do I.
So I think there's a little bit of that. And the reason why I say that is because when you look at the semi-final, Farke was going apoplectic.
He was livid.
Absolutely, with the way that they were playing, and they weren't.
Same against Bournemouth. He was screaming onto the pitch in the first half against Bournemouth, and I haven't seen him that animated all season.
Yeah, which is what is leading me to think that the possession-based football thing it's a bit of both. It's both of them that kind of do it. Yeah. So
for me, when I see a change, so when I see Leeds come out of the blocks in the first half and just bomb at teams, and then all of a sudden they come out in the second half and sit deep and don't go across the halfway line, that's when I go, there's been a conversation at halftime here around style of play. But when you see the team come out at the start, both halves, and just tippy-tappy, I'm starting to glee. And then when I watch his reactions to it, starting to look at it and going, yeah, okay, they're playing within themselves, and he knows they're playing within themselves now. So, the tempo needs to go up again. Tempo. But that's a factor. And again, when Leeds have done fast pace against decent sides this season, we've looked really, really capable. And when we've gone slowly again, Sunderland, we talked before the Sunderland game. We were both at that match, and we talked about it before the game. And we said if Ilya Groove starts and Leeds come out and go backwards with their tip off and keep the ball in their own half, we're in trouble. That's exactly what they did. What we wanted to see was Tanaka start that game, and Leeds come out, go back to the goalkeeper, and then the long ball forward as they all run up the pitch, and then what kind of leads you're getting that night. And we kind of got an idea what we were going to get, and unfortunately it panned out exactly that way. So they need to just make sure that they do whatever they can to make sure that Burnley don't have an easy day. Passing it around the back, passing it around the midfield in their own half slowly, that's not going to do it. They've got to be aggressive and consistent for 90 minutes and try and blow them out of the water. And if they get 1 or 2, great. If they get 4 or 5, even better. But whatever they do, get something and don't concede. So
we need a repeat of the Crystal Palace first half and second half, and we need a repeat, very much so, of the Chelsea first half, and we need a repeat of the Manchester first half as well, because that first half at Old Trafford was delicious. That was Leeds United. That was absolutely delicious. That's what we need, and that's what we're capable of.
Get a couple of goals and you can tippy-tappy around the second half all you want.
Yeah.
Fine. No problem. Okay, we'll move on then. We are getting to that point of the season. We've only got a couple of matches left. The championship is winding down this weekend. It's their final weekend. We've got a couple of games left. But we are starting to get into transfer market territory, and windows starting to open. And, well, not open, but conversations around genuine and concrete links to teams and players now starting to come out through the more likely sources than we tend to get during the off-season. We have got the list of every single player that Leeds have been linked with, and
I thought you would have typed that.
I will type it eventually once I get finished. So once it's done, we'll do a show on its own that has every single player we've been linked with and the publication that has linked them with Leeds as well. And we'll be able to find out who are the more reputable ones and who aren't, and we can decide to put our prejudged opinions to one side and see if it actually ends up being the case.
Yeah.
However, there are more credible ones that come out at this point of the year and getting into the summer that we know we can at very least say someone's had a look. And that started today. And we talked about this pod in January, and we said there was a chance that some of the players that Leeds were being linked with in January were probably more likely players Leeds were lining up for summer moves. And going back to last summer, Leeds did some smart business around free transfers and players in the final year of their contract where they could get them for a cut price deal. Those transfers, still 4 games to go, have looked to have been good business now. The season is wrapping up. They could be trying to do that again. There is a rumored £100 million for Leeds of a transfer kitty. They need to stretch that a little bit. And there is talk that Leeds are looking to invest that in 3 to 4 players this summer. And that doesn't mean Leeds are going to bring in only 3 or 4 players, but they want to invest that money. Again, assuming any of these rumors are true. 2 names have popped up today. Now, one has kind of been floating around for a week or two, and it's come back into the mainstream, but they've come from far more credible sources. Danilo Doki, who was linked with Leeds United in January, the big centre-half, Dutch centre-half that plays at Union Berlin, who hasn't missed a single minute of football in 2 seasons. Single minute of football in 2 seasons. 7 goals from centre-back this year. Leeds had a very strong look at him in January. According to Fabrizio Romano, whatever you think of Fabrizio Romano, he tends to know what he's talking about with transfer links. Leeds, Borussia Dortmund, and several clubs in Saudi Arabia, the PAF clubs, are said to all be very interested in bringing him in on a free transfer this summer. And the second one that's come from the Daily Mail, who have tended to be the mouthpiece of the Leeds ownership over the last couple of years, is Hidemasa Morita from Sporting Lisbon, who is a defensive-minded midfielder who might, as you put it to me earlier on, might be a nice little replacement for Ilya Groove, or a slightly better version of an Ilya Groove in that central defensive midfield role that Leeds are looking for. Both players available on free transfers. Now, as I said, they are rumors at this point, but they would be 2 very interesting players to bring in for absolutely nothing should you be able to get them done.
They would be. What we need to look at now in terms of the squad and what we're trying to do with the squad is that each year we're looking at that kind of steady, focused, tentative improvement year upon year upon year. And you look at the Sporting player. I've his name completely ran out of my head then.
Morita. Japanese international. Yeah,
you look at Morita coming in, and he is, I would consider, a level above where Gruev is. So if you're looking at improving players, he's a level above where Gruev is. If we were to sell Gruev, that would represent good PSR for us, definitely, because he would be worth a considerable amount more than what we pay for him because of the season in the Premier League that he's had. My other thing with Doki is there is going to be a player, I would suggest, that will get sold in the summer that we don't want to get sold, but will get sold. My spidey senses would turn around and say that's probably going to be Strauch. Out of all of the players that are going to go, I think he would be the one that would go because he represents a ridiculous. Well, it's 100% profit on him. He's been here since he was 18, and he's a what? I'm gonna do a wild stab in the dark. 20 million plus player, 22, 25 million player 25. Potentially, and that just that represents just absolute masses of amounts of money to come in, and Doki is the replacement for him in my humble opinion. I mentioned the same thing about John Stones. John Stones is leaving City at the end of the season. Everton don't want him. Could we look at him on a free? His wages will be nuts. He'll probably end up going to Saudi for a couple of seasons, I would have thought. But if you're thinking about it, the tentative wise, then there's a potential there. But I like Doki, and I think I love Strauch immeasurably. I think he's been brilliant this season. He's been criminally underrated by a lot of people. But Doki would be that next level up if you're looking at in terms of building and changing and where you wanting to move players to.
I don't think Doki would be the one that comes in on his own, though. Strauch was to go, and I will give an opinion on Strauch in a sec, because he is a right-sided centre back where we've already got Joe Rodon over there, and ideally you want a left footer on the left-hand side. I mean, Jacobiel can play in the left of the three and has done play in the left of the three. So he could always do that. I prefer him in the center of the three, if I'm being honest. But you could do that. There is obviously Krejci's been doing a link that's come out as well. He is a left-sided centre back, so he would fit that bracket perfectly there. The interesting on Stroke is, I agree with you. I think he is chronically underrated. Now, I understand why people have reservations about Pascal Stroke, but he is still below his peak years. He still hasn't fully matured as a centre back if you look at football. And for me, the risk on this would be he's got a year left on his contract. Is he willing to sign another deal and stay at the club? That's the first point. If he's kind of him and Han and keeping an eye on his options, then maybe Leeds have to make that decision for him and move him on this summer. However, if he is willing to sign a contract, I think in that back three, he has looked his best for Leeds, because the only concern I have about Pascal Stroke is he does go for a little wander every now and then in games, but Beale's allowed him to do that.
Yeah.
And what we've seen with that three is Stroke can go forward with the ball and can show his passing range. He's one of the best passes from the back that we've actually got this season. So, and he covers passing lanes very good. I mean, he goes from having probably one of the best games he's had against Bournemouth to then making a mistake in the FA Cup semi-final, and probably not having his best game. And that's what you get with Pascal Stroke. There is very high highs and lows to his game. And I don't know where I stand on this. If you let him go now, then you could be missing out on his peak years, and he could turn out to be one of the best centre backs in the division, right? Because there is Premier League clubs looking at him. Or do you cash in and bring in somebody for right now who is, of a certain level immediately, and you're not still waiting a year or two? And maybe that's what they are looking at. There's no guarantee. There's split opinions on this. There are those reports that have come out from the club, true or not, that say they want to tie him down to a longer term deal. That's the club's opinion on it. The other side, and other reports that have come out from unnamed sources at the club, and they've said that they expect him to move on this summer. So there is this split news coming out, or rumors coming out from the club of where he goes. But it's a strange one, because he is a naturally left-sided player. If you do sell him for 20-25 million pounds, which again is the rumored fee Leeds will be looking for, you're probably going to spend close to that to bring a player in to replace him. So do you really, unless they're definitely a level above him, is it really worth doing? And I don't know how I feel about that right now.
Well, the other thing that you need to think about as well is that are we sleepwalking into another Cresswell situation?
Well, that's the point.
That's the thing that
older,
in the back of your head. Are we potentially sleepwalking into that similar sort of situation again? Because we need to make sure that doesn't happen. I think Farke mentioned it in the press conference that if we can get the relegation thing sorted out, so the survival side of stuff organised before the end of the season, that gives us more time to start looking at and preparing for the season after, because everybody needs to just, as well, we're probably not going to see any signings until about 2/3 of the way through the window, because there's a World Cup on. So everybody just needs to relax on that as well.
Also very on brand as well. Although last year we got two done very, very early last year.
We did.
So you never know.
We did. But it is a strange. I just think that if we're to sell anybody to make a decent profit at the moment on anybody, it's Pascal's name that for me is front and center of that. But I'm very much with you. I can't help but think to myself, he's a really good defender. He's not quite matured yet, and if he matures, and he's Do
you want him to mature somewhere else? And then go, oh well, we didn't wait long enough. We've seen him with Eli Capri as well, the goalkeeper. Like he goes off and look what he does in Italy.
Don't do that. Oh God, we've got the goalkeeper thing to sort out as well.
You have to sort out the goalkeepers as well this summer.
Just
give Carl a contract. There you go. Exactly. There we go. Start to move on.
It's free.
So Morita's an interesting one though as well, because according to the Mail article, he is interested in joining Leeds. Again, assuming that the Mail article is true. He is interested in joining Leeds. He would be a free. He's 30 years of age. So he is older than what they tend to go for. But the quote in the Mail was Leeds see him as an experienced Ethan Ampadu competition and cover in that role, which I think he could do easily for 2 years in the Premier League, no problem. And 30 doesn't seem to be anything anymore in football in terms of players are going to like 38, 39 now comfortably with sports science. So there's that highly experienced footballer at international level and plenty of European football under his belt at a high level with Sporting. So a good player. Did apparently, again, looking into it, it did look like there was genuine interest from Leeds in him last summer. He decided to stay up Sporting to see out his contract there. And then I suppose Jose Mourinho said about players a couple of years ago. Players are going to start running down their contracts because they want to be the ones that will benefit from where they go next and where they want to go. Morita would be an interesting. We said a decent season. He's only started like 19 league games this year, but he's played a lot more than just started. But that's the role I think Leeds are potentially looking at him, someone to help bring on players and help them get better as well. So it's an interesting one. It's a zero. So it's an area of the park that we're not massively concerned about spending money on because we've got plenty of cover in there. I don't know if Ilya Groove leaves this summer because there has been conversations around him potentially signing a new deal.
No, but he loves it. He absolutely loves it here. He's achieved what he wanted to achieve, which is to play in the Premier League, and he's done it with us. And he absolutely loves it here. The way that I would look at this potential is that I would say that this could be almost a Rothwell Mark II. Is the way that I would potentially looking at that in terms of what you would want him to do. So you would want him to come in for a couple of years, experience at a high level, experience. Can that translate okay into the Premier League? It will be good to come in to have somebody that can come in and be that natural cover for Ampadu, because I think Ampadu needs it. I mean, Ampadu he's phenomenal as far as I don't.
Great.
He's phenomenal, but to have the ability to go, you can have a rest this week, and we can potentially look at something else. Because if we're now looking at
rotation, Paul,
rotating
players.
Rotation and cup runs, then we need more players in the squad to be able to do that. The only problem is that Farke likes a thin squad, so it's
one out, one in.
Yeah, it's the juxtaposition between the two. So if we're going to be bringing people in, it's that they need to be better than what we've got. That has to be an absolute given. Yeah, and is it somebody coming in as a cover player, or is it somebody coming in that's going to be a starter? And that's where we need to be with it all.
Okay. Just to give you some update on this as well, Steve Carlisle, who sent me an Instagram message. Steve tries to keep me up to date on PSR and SCR things when I say stuff, and if I'm not right, Steve will make sure that I'm pointed back in the right direction. But he's been doing a bit of work on the SCR stuff, which is complicated, and as we've seen already, we've talked about in the news over the last couple of months, may not benefit Leeds necessarily in the short term, but may benefit Leeds more so in the longer term. So Steve has said he listened to the piece on Pascal Stroke yesterday. This is his exact words. He said, under the new SCR system, any profit on the sale gets added to the denominator, revenues. However, the profit is spread over 3 years. So if we made a profit of, say, £30 million on the sale, 10 million will be added each of the 3 years of 26, 27, 27, 28, 28, 29 seasons. So if our ratio was 160 to 190 million, which is 89%, 20 for 26, 27, and we then made 30 million profit on PS, Pascal Stroke, the ratio for 26, 27 would change from 160 to 200 million, which would be 80%. So he's just started digging. It's as clear as mud to me.
I was literally just going to say that. I was what?
Yeah, it seems to go down, not up, and I don't understand it fully. But I have said to Steve he wants to come on the channel and give us some more detail around this and give us a better explanation of what I can possibly give on what SCR looks like next season.
Well, the way that I see it, if I was to try and simplify it in my head, and I could be completely wrong, and Steve, if you're listening, I apologise for absolutely butchering your expertise. But the way that I see it is,
I butchered the text, so
say that again. Sorry,
I just butchered the text, so it's all good in.
You were struggling a little bit though. I was watching.
I was.
I know it's great. Wednesday. If you're looking at it from a point of view of, say, you've got 170 million as your as what the new model needs to be for the year, that's the spend availability. You sell a player for 30 million, but that 30 million is then spread over the 3 years. Then that should drop a 10 into that year, a 10 into the following year, and a 10 into the following year. So that 170 million should go to 180 million for this year. And then for next year, based on your revenues and everything and stuff like that, if your revenue goes up, then it will go up plus the additional that you put on as well. That's the way that I kind of see it. I mean, I'm probably, like I said, probably completely wrong. So,
and as far as I'm aware as well, clubs that have more amortized payments, likes of Chelsea and Aston Villa, this model does not suit them at all. This is even tighter because it's closer to UEFA's model, which they've both been in trouble with, than it is to the existing Premier League model. So, yeah, exciting, sexy finance talk for the summer. No doubt we'll get into that in more detail. On the exit side of things, then, the two that, well, first things first, Max Fober played a game of football in the league, so congratulations to Max Fober. I know, right? Yeah, he did. Yeah, finally made his debut for Werder Bremen in the league with 3 games to go, I think, or 4 games to go in this season. So that's worked out well, hasn't it? Looks like Isaac Schmidt's going to come back. Looks like he's going to come back. The 2 that look like they will possibly move on are the best choices Leeds will have for moving players on. Again, not that we want these to move on. I don't. I'd like both of these to stay and be developed, but the word on the street is that they're going to go. Large Ramazani, Valencia want to open negotiations with Leeds around the permanent move. Now, everyone and their mother has had a conversation on this in the chat over the last couple of days and said, we all know a Spanish club isn't going to give Leeds what they want for Ramazani. So Leeds are said to want anything between 10 and 15 million for him. So it's not huge money for him. And Joe Gelhardt, who's had a phenomenal season at Hull City on loan, there's talk that they want to make it permanent. Rangers are apparently out of the window completely. Not happening. So it's Hull or another, could even be one of the sides that get promoted, but they both look like they're going to go. Joffrey's fee is still between £8-10 million, which I think is a bit low considering the season he's had and his age and where he can go to on the back of that, and Ramazani. So what are your thoughts on those 2?
Ramazani makes sense. Farke doesn't trust him. He hasn't done ever since that day that he forgot to track back, and that's the biggest issue. And unfortunately, once that's happened and you're potentially not prepared to show any change or that you're going to mature a little bit, I'll throw Nonto into the mix here. Just the difference in Nonto this season. That's the type of thing that you want to see from Ramazani. Fair play to Ramazani. He's been brilliant the second half of the season so far for them. Played really, really well. He seems to have settled in well. He seems to be enjoying his football again. If we can make an agreement happen, make it happen and just get it done. It's dependent on the amortization and money and everything else. It's more money to come into the pot. Joffrey, we know Joffrey will go. Joffrey has done exactly what you want a lone player to do in a season. He's gone out and he's just been different grave. He's been an absolute bulldog for Hull this season. He's been incredible. Him and Ollie McBurney have been brilliant. Been absolutely brilliant together, little and large, and just playing really, really well. And if it's more about whether or not Hull can afford him more than anything, because like you said, 10 to 12 million quid is not enough for him, in my opinion, based on what he's done this season. And like you said, with what his potential is as well. The other out that I definitely see in the summer is Pirro. Pirro will be gone this summer as well. He'll be going to another club, I think.
He hasn't been used enough. And again, the 3 of them fall into the same bracket for me. They're not necessarily players that I want to see leave Leeds. I mean, I would have loved to have seen Pirro used in the 2 this season. Never got to see what that would look like. He gets played in that weird floaty 10, not even a 10. He gets put on and gone, go run around and get involved in the game and look. And he gets lost in these games. And I don't think it's necessarily his fault.
No.
Ramazani is just purely a manager. Farke is just not going to use him. It's as black and white as that. It has got nothing to do whether he's good enough or not. It's got nothing to do whether we would like him to play or not. It's purely got down to the fact that Daniel Farke clearly doesn't trust him to do the jobs that he asked him to do. And Joe Gelhardt falls into that bracket as well. Leeds seem to have made up their mind very early on this year. He's going at the end of the season no matter what. He will be into the final year of his contract come the end of the season. So it looks like they'll move. And Leeds have to do that. I mean, suppose we're in a position now where we've got to start being realistic about it. And this is where the loyalty question comes into fact. But on one hand, people will say, where's the loyalty? And then the same hand, it's like, get rid of the manager. You know, like, so I suppose you've got to be realistic and look at it from an unemotional perspective. If you're not playing, if you're not involved, Leeds need to have players in the squad that will be involved and will put pressure and will put genuine competition in different positions for players. So it has to be looked at, and we can't just sign everybody and keep everybody. Can't stockpile players that aren't kicking footballs around the place. And Leeds have got work to do. And one thing Leeds, Paul, haven't proven this current ownership, and I think the signings over the last 3 summers have all proven to be good in the levels, bar the odd 1 or 2. But in general, they've all contributed quite well. The one thing they haven't done well is get rid of players, and that's going to be a question mark as well, because Jack Harrison's floating around. Now, his season's turned at Fiorentina, but there's still no guarantee that he goes there permanently either. So they've got to be able to get rid of players and not have another Ilan Melier situation who walks away for nothing at the end of the season.
The issue that we've got with the players is that's the remnants of the Orta and Radrazani era, isn't it? That's those contracts that they had. And it's not the players' fault as much as you might want to say about the players. It isn't their fault. That's the contract that they were offered, that they agreed to, and that was signed. So it's not their fault. And why should they? Why should they have to leave for less money somewhere else when they can sit and pick up the money that they want to pick up? So they do need to get better at it. And whether or not that's a case of sitting down boardroom level and having a conversation with the players and sort of saying, look, come on, let's get a gentleman's agreement. We'll give you a bit of a payoff. Just let's shake hands and just so we can all move on. We'll give you a bit of a payoff. You can then go for a free to another club, get your signing on bonus that goes with it as well. And we can all walk away happy and sort of moved on if we kind of do it that way. But we do need to get better at that. The fact that Melier wasn't moved on still boggles my head completely, but it is what it is.
Yeah, especially the season we got relegated when Chelsea were sniffing around that summer. We brought Carl Darlow in to be first choice, and then the last second they decided, actually, we'll hang on to Melier. You're like, oh, then you go back to Robbie Evans' comments at the end of the summer window last year, where he said it was better for everybody involved that Ilan stays. I'm like, how is that better for everybody? He's played more than 21 games this season, not particularly well, but he's played more than 21 games than he has for the first team. So how was that the right decision? And Carl Darlow ends up being the number one goalkeeper in the Premier League anyway. So yeah, that has to be it. There has to be a significant improvement on that, because that's money. Yeah. Either way you look at it, it's either money coming in the door or you're getting money off the wage bill. Just has to be looked at this summer. So it'll likely pick up. But yeah, as you said, it's World Cup summer, so there is pretty much two separate windows to this. There is before the World Cup kicks in, what you can get done and agreed then, and then there is the rush after the World Cup is finished and how quickly you can get them in the door. And again, players that are coming back are going to have longer offs. They're going to have much shorter pre-seasons. So we'll have to wait and see. The one thing we do know at the moment, assuming relegation doesn't happen, is Manchester United and Leeds United will play each other at Croke Park in Dublin, which I'm going to. I can't wait for that. And we'll probably see some of the players involved in that, because that's just before the start of the season.
Yeah.
So chance to get a look at them at that point. But it'll be a weird summer with international tournaments. But and a lot of our players will be gone to that. Daniel Farke's teams tend to start seasons quite slowly. They'll need to be on it when they come back relatively quickly to make sure it doesn't happen this year. Next year.
Don't do that.
Whatever year.
Don't do that. You're already starting with negativity for the start of next season. Behave yourself.
No, I'm just pointing out a fact. That's all. Just pointing out a fact.
No, yeah, that is right. It's usually 4 games it takes us to get going in a league before we start
properly
kind of moving again. Yeah.
10 before they've hit their full stride, which we've seen again. He lost his job this year over that, so let's not do that again next year.
Well, in the last, what is it? Apart from West Ham, Forest, and Leeds, have lost 1 game between them in the last 15 games.
They're the 4 form sides in the league outside of, I think, Man City and Brighton, maybe.
Yeah, Brighton on a right run at the moment, by the way.
What a year to be in a relegation scrap. The 4 teams are all the ones scrapping for the last position.
It would be. It would be.
Go, will you? Just die. Just die.
Please start coughing. Just start coughing.
Go towards the light. Go to the light. Run to the light.
Let the tuberculosis consumption. All 1920s.
Let it consume you. Yeah. Just stop hanging on, will you? Just one of you just go, and we can get this over with. But yeah, we'll see. Anyway, big game on Friday night. We'll see how we get on. Again, a reminder: we are sponsored by OK Jersey. So if you are getting World Cup shirts, high quality, order a size up if you are. World Cup shirts for a World Cup summer, 8% off in your basket with the code TView. And you can also download the Finalysis app in the link down below, and you can give yourself and Paul a follow over there if you want to. And that's it. That's where we'll finish up tonight. Back in the morning for the Leeds news. You can check out today's if you want more detail on Danilo Doki and Hidemasa Morita. Paul, what's going on with your channel this week?
I've done I did a video that went out yesterday just about keep calm and carry on, just to try and set the level a little bit, and then completely Jekyll and Hyde done the running video because my brain had started to not cope with the situation very well, so I needed to look at the games that we've got just to kind of make myself feel a little bit better and just to assess teams and where they're at the moment. And you just start doing stupid stuff where you're looking at, right, what's the home form like? What's the away form like? Right, okay, they've got this game away, that game away. How have they done away from home? How have they done that? How many goals are they scoring? How many goals are they... So all of this...
scored them? Where have they scored them? When have they scored them? What time have they scored them? Yeah, get it.
Yeah, one of the biggest mistakes I made is on my preview videos of now doing the little graphic that I put on that's got when the goals are scored throughout the 90 minutes. Because you look at it and go, right, okay, so they technically should be letting in loads of goals at this point, or technically at this point, and it just...
If you haven't scored, then you get worried when you're watching. I did it for the first half of the season, and I stopped doing it because I was looking at it going, we're playing Nottingham Forest. If you don't score by this stage, you don't score. And then we didn't score. Like, that's the end of that game then, isn't it? So, yeah, it was better to not know that kind of stuff. But, yeah.
It will be... your viewers will be happy to know that it will be in the preview video that will be out tomorrow, roughly around about 5 p.m. That should be out tomorrow, the preview for the match on Friday. So yeah, so there's that's on there. There's the those 3 videos for this week so far. And if anything pops up, I'll throw something else on. So just keep it out. Just keep your eyes peeled.
Ticking along. Keep it ticking along. Right, folks, enjoy the rest of your day whenever you're watching this. I'll talk to you soon. See you later. Bye.